was a grainy video and taken from a distance, and she's just walking casually down the sidewalk.
So rare for someone to go missing in today's day and age and there be no sign of life.
I literally texted her. I was like, girl, you better not be dead. I was very scared.
The Life 360 applications show very precisely that after walking in one direction, she immediately was in a vehicle traveling at 40 miles an hour in the opposite direction.
We thought the worst for several days, several weeks, and several months.
Still no signs of life for her till we got a call in early February from a man who had located remains in a wooded area.
The bones are scattered. She had long fingernails with black nail polish on, and they find one of those nails with the black nail polish.
We're going to begin tonight with breaking news. We can now confirm the remains of 16-year-old Susana Morales have been found.
When reality set in and it was her, it sucked.
One of the police officers stumbles upon a firearm that's in the woods.
We ran the serial number and it returned as stolen. There was no way the gun and Susana's case were not connected. At that point, her case went from a missing person to a homicide.
Your wife is in a bar, you said she's unresponsive?
This is what he's going to tell you. How to get out of that situation.
And I grabbed the gun.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir.
The only thing they could do was kill him.
You want to say anything? We, the jury, and to find the defendant.
She was a outgoing, loving, sweet young lady.
A normal, happy teenager. She grew up here in Gwinnett County in Norcross.
Susana Morales had just turned 16.
She really liked music, kind of making like dances and songs and TikToks like kids are doing, and just was a really go-lucky, fun person.
We got a Susana Morales in the wild. We were close friends enough that she could tell her mom that she was coming to my house and I would cover for her as a friend.
And that night, she never went to Esmeralda's house. She instead went over to see her friends, Kelly and Alyssa.
They lived at the Sterling Glen apartment complex.
They did admit to smoking some marijuana that evening, but just hanging out with friends.
Around 10 o'clock, Susana's mother texted her and told her to head home.
It's just about a half mile from the exit where she left the apartment complex back to her home.
A surveillance camera at a community center captured Susana on her way home.
It was a grainy video and taken from a distance. She's just walking casually down the sidewalk.
Susana never arrived home that night.
That night I didn't sleep. I was just hoping to hear from her. I kept calling her and her friends to see if there was an update, but she never answered.
I was like, okay, she's not at her friend's house. Maybe she's with her boyfriend, but her boyfriend had no clue where she was at either. I literally texted her. I was like, girl, you better not be dead. I was very scared.
No hay palabras. There's no words to describe how I felt. I'm desperate to know where she was, worried, anxious, that she was kidnapped, that they were torturing her, that she was lost somewhere.
The following morning, Susana's family did make contact with Gwinnett County Police to let them know she had not returned home from the night before.
We wanted for them to start looking for her right away, but they let us know that we had to wait 48 hours before we officially declared her a missing person.
And that's because in the vast majority of missing persons cases, particularly with juveniles, they do turn back up.
But then Susana's friend showed police what they had seen on a popular app they shared with her called Life 360, which tracked the movements of Susana's cell phone.
The Life 360 applications show very precisely that after walking in one direction, she immediately was in a vehicle traveling at 40 miles an hour in the opposite direction away from her apartment.
A couple moments later, a crash alert is sent, which we believe was when her phone was thrown out of the vehicle. And then after that, there was no more movement.
That piece of evidence really made the police department believe that something more was involved here, that it was potentially that she was had been taken.
And it's so rare for someone to go missing in today's day and age and there be no sign of life. Susanna is a beautiful young girl, and I just began thinking the worst of the worst.
Everyone was extremely concerned, so they quickly ruled out any suspects of family, friends, or the boyfriend at that point. And it just was straight up, we had no idea what happened to her. The family, of course, they are posting flyers, they are on social media, so they're going all over the place.
I was on Google Earth, driving around, thinking of different paths that she could have taken. Maybe it was just constant. It was pretty much 24/7.
This Friday, her family and friends are planning another walk with the posters and the missing person signs, hoping it'll bring her back home.
As you can see here, she was last seen wearing a yellow tank top and light-colored jeans.
We thought the worst for several days, several weeks, and several months.
So all the way through the fall and winter of 2022 and into the beginning of 2023, the family received hundreds of phone calls from strangers saying that they had seen Susanna. We got reported sightings of her in Michigan, in Tennessee, and South Carolina.
I even went to North Carolina one time because they said that they saw her eating from a trash can, but it turned out to not be true.
Family received extortion calls from Mexico, from other places, saying they had Susanna, that they had taken her, and that they would give her back for a couple $1,000s.
None that turned out to be true, no. It was a traumatizing experience.
They went through almost 7 months of absolute hell. It's one thing to know that your child is dead. It's another to hold out hope that maybe she'll come back, maybe she'll turn up.
Still no signs of life for her until we got a call in early February from a man who had located remains in a wooded area.
Some 30 miles north from where Susanna was last seen alive.
How you doing? That way, a little walk. Sure.
It was so far from where she was reported missing that I still didn't want to believe it. I'm like, oh, I hope this isn't Susanna.
Oh, man, like I said, it's been here for a while, and there's more. I walked straight that way.
The bones are scattered. We see some partial hair. She had long fingernails with black nail polish on, and they find one of those nails with the black nail polish.
When reality set in and it was her, it sucked.
We're going to begin tonight with breaking news. We can now confirm the remains of 16-year-old Susanna Morales have been found. Detectives are still investigating the manner and the cause of her death.
They came to our house and let us know that they had found her remains. I never thought I would hear those words.
We were just hoping that she was somewhere safe. But that wasn't our case.
At that point, her case went from a missing person to a homicide.
We found absolutely no traces of any clothing, fibers, shoes. The fact that she was not clothed immediately made us consider that there had been a sexual assault involved as well.
Police returned to the scene the next day for a full search of the area.
While they're doing that grid search, one of the police officers stumbles upon a firearm that's in the woods.
A Glock 19 semi-automatic pistol that was near to her body, probably within 50 yards or so to her body.
We ran the serial number and it returned as stolen. This was a big lead at that point. It was reported stolen the night that Susanna went missing from the same complex, Sterling Glen Apartments. There was no way the gun and Susanna's case were not connected.
A beautiful 16-year-old girl, Susanna Morales, was laid to rest Monday.
It was a bittersweet feeling. There was a lot of tears. We were just glad that we could say our goodbyes. Even though at that time, we still had absolutely no clue exactly what happened to her.
But detectives at Gwinnett County Police Headquarters felt they were getting closer to some answers, thanks to the gun found at the scene.
We end up tracking that gun, and that gun comes back to Miles Bryant.
What's up, man? Hey, Mr. Bryant.
Miles Bryant was a 22-year-old police officer in the small town of Doraville, Georgia, who also worked part-time as a security officer at the apartment complex.
And we find out just hours after Susanna went missing, Miles Bryant had called to make a report of a stolen firearm.
My Glock 19 holster is on the floorboard, and my Glock 19 is always together, you know? Right.
He reported it had been stolen out of his vehicle, which was parked at the Sterling Glen Apartments.
Oh, I hate to say, I think I left my they ain't smashed the window or nothing. I left my door unlocked.
When I saw that, my first thought was someone was going through vehicles. Maybe Susanna witnessed this and said something.
They believed that whomever was responsible for taking Susanna had stolen his firearm.
But something seemed off to investigators as they reviewed the body cam footage made 6 months earlier when Bryant first reported the gun stolen.
He tells the officer that he doesn't want it investigated. He just wants it documented.
I don't really care about, the detective stuff like that. I just want to get on the CIC at least. Don't be caught on the side of the road with it, No, I got you. Yeah.
Now, all of us in law enforcement know that a gun loose on the street is not a good thing. He also states that his wallet was stolen that night.
I got my wallet. I don't know where my wallet at. So I can't find my wallet.
But he never requests another license, and he uses that same license shortly later in a traffic stop.
All right, got you ready?
So then I began looking into Miles Bryant. We had multiple encounters with him in other incidences where he attempted to get into a female's apartment.
3 months after Susanna disappeared, Bryant was caught on surveillance cameras trying to get into the home of a former high school classmate.
He is seen on Ring doorbell cameras 2 times going to her house when he knows she's not there.
One of the times, Bryant, who served in the National Guard, was wearing his guard pants and cap.
I'm trying to get into her apartment, trying to break into her home. She calls law enforcement.
Okay, do you know this person? Yeah. Who is it?
Miles Bryant.
He was in my military. He still works for the cops. Were y'all in a relationship?
No, never.
That young lady had filed a complaint with the city of Doraville about his actions. They did open an internal affairs investigation. They quickly closed it out without speaking to her about it.
And then investigators began to search through Bryant's work record as a police officer.
I wanted to review any type of body cams where he had any involvement with juveniles, if he had any missing persons, those type cases.
Just 2 months before Susanna disappeared, Officer Bryant's own body camera showed him dealing with a teen who had run away.
This is her?
Risha.
It was particularly interesting to us because this young girl, I believe was maybe 13 or 14 at the time, was a young Hispanic female.
You want to go to jail? That's what you want? No. You don't want to go to jail? Well, that's the route you're headed.
He was pretty much scolding the juvenile for running away.
So if somebody picked you up and raped you, then what? You didn't think about that, did you?
I don't really think it's going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen? I deal with rapes almost every day.
And he was telling this juvenile that what would you do if someone like my size were to kidnap you, rape you, and dump you in the woods.
People are my size, big, and just come snatch you up. You can scream, you can shout all you want. They're going to throw you in the back of the van. They're going to take you when your parents never see you again. And there's nothing you can do. You can't fight it. I mean, you're strong. I promise you. I bet you're strong, but you're not that strong.
And that caught my attention because that's exactly what happened to Susanna Morales.
It's a pattern of him being inappropriate with women. That shows his intent and his motive that we felt was sexual in nature towards young women.
So at that point, in order to essentially rule Mr. Bryant out as a suspect, the Gwinnett County Police Department obtained a search warrant for his phone record.
Miles' phone records put him at the location where Susanna was found.
And the GPS data showed Bryant had returned to the area the following morning.
So the fact that he went back out there in the morning means to me that he was trying to find his gun again. He couldn't find it. He freaked out, came back home, called police, and reported it as stolen.
Because he's law enforcement, first thought is that he's not involved. But the more that they keep digging, the more it comes back that clearly he is.
So now, detectives wanted to bring Bryant in for questioning without making him think he was a suspect.
You got some time for us to come up to our headquarters and just talk about what you see on a daily basis and stuff like that? Yeah.
And we just kind of played into that, like, hey, can you come help us, cop to cop?
We're literally talking to everyone here, so we're just trying to document we got no leads, man. We're just trying to document everything. That's all we are. No problem. Okay. Gotta come with y'all. Can I drive there? We'll drive you, man. Yeah, we'll take you up there. Yeah, you don't gotta waste your gas or anything and all that stuff.
It was clear he was nervous and concerned.
You got any guns or anything on you? No, I don't. Actually. You don't? No. Okay, can I pat you down just to make sure? What's going on, man? You're good. It's our policy, man. We just I know how this road. Right.
So he came in consensually, and we didn't have a warrant signed at that point. We were in the process of getting it signed, but he came in on his own.
The whole case is circumstantial, but every single piece of evidence puts him at that scene.
They needed a confession.
Again, I'm the lead on the Susanna Morales, and I actually saw the next day, like, someone broke into your car.
Yeah. I didn't begin the interview accusatory in any way. I continued to tell him, we really need help with this.
So I'm thinking it's probably, this is like our theory we're working with right now. We're thinking it's probably going to be related because it was kind of the same night. Like the person who probably did that to you may know something.
I wanted to get him comfortable and locked into a story about what he did that night without him having any knowledge of what we already had.
So I know that your gun was stolen. Do you know if it was located or anything yet?
No, I've already been.
I haven't run it yet. Okay. All right, so your gun. I want to check that really quick to see if it was found. Plus, we can get it back for you.
I wanted to let him think that I believed he was this upstanding person. He was a soldier. He was a police officer. He was a good man. And then I let him know, we have found your gun.
Okay. All right. So basically my sergeant did confirm. So we did find your gun, actually.
In his face at that point, I think he was like, oh crap.
Yeah, so that just like raises suspicion even more. Not with you, but like I think it's the same person who probably, because it wasn't listed as stolen before, but I couldn't figure out who had found it. But you watch the news, you know we found Savannah. But there was actually a gun found out there too. Yeah, and it's the same serial number. He just verified it.
Crazy.
I know. So help me walk through it a little bit. Like help me some kind of way.
At that point, I began continuing like, oh man, that's crazy. Is there any possibility you'd ever been out there?
Do you ever go in the woods and stuff out there?
In the woods, no.
Is there any reason why you would have dropped it out there maybe?
No.
Do y'all do any training out there or anything?
Did you know her at all? Morales? Nothing? Never saw her like playing basketball or anything with the other kids? I didn't recognize her at all. That is crazy.
I continued to try to keep him comfortable and give him a chance to lie to me again.
So I know you heard about it. Did you research it at all? Didn't look it up at all? The case status or anything?
But detectives had already searched Bryant's phone.
He's looking up the location of the area where Susanna's body is found. How long does it take for a body to decompose? This is before she's found.
Your gun was found there. Yeah. You know how this goes. We have to do like this, that, and the third to do everything. Which we did. We did our due diligence because I was like, hey, you know, I knew that you were a cop. I'm not done. I've been doing this a little while. So then I drop another piece of evidence. We have your phone records, and I know you were out there. Basically, we know you were there, but we need to figure out why and what happened. I don't think you're a bad guy. I don't. Mm-hmm. You weren't brought up here in handcuffs or anything.
Yeah, no.
So, and I have your back. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're like family. You know what I'm saying? We're all family here. I got to figure out what happened. Yeah. Because there's no arguing if you were there, if you weren't, you know you were.
Right.
Okay? Tell me what happened, please.
I don't know. I literally was with my girlfriend, on the phone with my girlfriend, and that's it. I think I was on Instagram.
I mean, it can't just, are you saying it's just a mere coincidence that you ended up in the woods, the same place Susanna ended up?
Her body was found there, dude.
I got honest.
Your gun is found walking distance.
This is the time to be 100% honest.
I swear I'm being honest. That is crazy.
Miles.
Now I'm nervous.
We got your phone in the woods 3 hours after. Why were you in the woods?
I wasn't in the woods.
You were in the woods.
I was not in the woods.
You were.
It's
a question about if you are a cold-blooded killer or if you made a mistake. That's literally where we're at right now. That's where we are. I'm letting you know. And I just told you what the district attorney's office is probably going to use against you if they pursue anything. How do you think that's going to look?
Bad.
So explain what happened. It's not a question. I know you're involved.
No, I'm not involved. No, I would not do that and say, well, maybe I messed up. No, none of that. Not involved. Not involved. I was into it with my girlfriend that entire night.
Did you kill her?
No.
Were you with her when she died?
No.
Why did you dump her body there?
I didn't dump her body there.
Were you trying to help her and she was already dead when you found her?
No.
In my head, I'm like, okay, he targets women. He victimizes women. Maybe being interviewed by a woman isn't the best idea.
You got anything else?
No. Really disappointed.
So it wasn't really hard to make that decision and ask Sergeant Poppy and Detective Jorstad to take over the interview.
We were hoping to come in here today and you were going to give us a good reason on why it's not you. And unfortunately, it's gone the other way for you. You just got to man up. You're a military man. You're a police officer. We don't know why you did this to this girl.
I didn't. I would not say
you said
the only thing now you can do is, explain what happened and maybe show some remorse.
I did not do it. I feel bad. That nothing should happen to somebody. But I didn't do that.
Sorry. I don't believe you.
I love my job. I love my career. I wouldn't do that if I was working at QT.
Or did you do it because you have this job and you thought you could get away with it?
No, what? No. That's even more messed up.
Over and over, hoping you were going to be a man and own up to whatever you did. But instead you sit there and be disgusting. Not a cop. You don't represent this badge at all. Or this country. Honor, integrity, sacrifice. You're none of those.
At the end of the interview, we advised him that he was going to be placed under arrest. He was placed into handcuffs and taken to Gwinnett County Jail.
Just in tonight, a Gwinnett County grand jury indicted Miles Bryant on malice murder charges for the death of Susana Morales last summer.
We believe he overpowered her, raped her, killed her, and dumped her body. He's an evil person and sexually deviant person who was looking for a target, and sadly, Susanna was easy prey for him.
This type of crime at the hand of a law enforcement officer evokes anger, even within the ranks of this agency.
I couldn't really believe it, honestly. I couldn't believe that an officer would do this. I couldn't believe anyone could do this, but let alone an officer.
the defendant will please stand. His name is Miles Bryant.
Susana Morales' friends and family were in court every day.
It's like you relive everything again. The pain, it came back for those 2 weeks.
I saw a murderer. That's all I could see. He killed my best friend.
He was supposed to serve and protect. Worked as a police officer for the City of Doraville Police Department. But he didn't do any of those things. Instead, he abused the law. And he used his badge and he used his position to satisfy his own sexual desires. He is a cop who turned into a killer. His victim, 16-year-old Susana Morales.
But prosecutors knew the case was no slam dunk.
The medical examiner was unable to conclude a cause of death.
And that is going to be a significant issue that the defense is going to argue. That you cannot find Mr. Bryant guilty of murder because there is no cause of death.
And the only reason we didn't have that is because of the actions of Miles. He took that body and dumped poor Susana in those woods. You know, that body is out there not only decomposing, but the elements are there pretty much destroying and washing away any chance of DNA or physical evidence for us to have.
If the defendant doesn't get to escape justice because he's good at committing a crime, because he's good at covering his tracks, he doesn't get to escape justice.
Does the defense wish to make an opening statement?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Drake.
It is a tragedy what happened to Susana Morales. She's a beautiful young lady. Makes me very upset at Mr. Bryant. But you don't have to like my client. And in fact, at the conclusion of this trial, you're going to think that he is the most callous, uncaring coward that you have ever seen. However, he is not guilty of the murder or felony murder in this particular case.
Their strategy was to admit that he was a bad guy, but that he didn't kill her.
And you're going to hear from Miles Bryant. He's going to explain to you exactly what happened.
We were excited because he has never told us why he did this. And so throughout the trial, we're waiting for him to take the stand.
And he's going to explain to you his thinking, and I can promise you, you are going to hate that young man sitting here. But at the conclusion of this trial, I'm going to come back up here and tell you it is fine to hate Miles Bryant. You can hate him all you want. However, I'm going to ask you to return a verdict that holds him accountable for his actions. But it's not murder, it's not felony murder, it's not kidnapping, and it's not criminal intent to commit a rape.
But the defense was not going to contest the charge of concealing the death of Susana.
Would you please tell the jury who Susana is to you?
Ahora jurado, ¿quién es Susana para usted?
Mi hija.
My daughter.
Can you tell us a little bit about Susana?
¿Puede decir un poco acerca de Susana?
Es muy alegre, sonriente.
Very joyful, always smiling.
I put her family and her friends on the stand first. I believed very strongly that his lawyer would try to argue that this was an overdose. Her friends were very forthcoming that they had smoked marijuana that night and that they had smoked regularly before that night.
Do you know how often that Susana would smoke marijuana?
¿Sabe qué tan seguido Susana fumaba marihuana? Only when she would go see her friends, and she did it once at home, and then another time I found it in her shoe hidden. I got to her for that.
How long was it from when Susana disappeared to when the police found her body?
Casi 7 meses.
Almost 7 months.
What went through your mind at that moment when you heard?
¿Qué pasó por su mente en ese momento cuando escuchó?
No quería eso.
Yo no quería esa noticia.
I did not want that those news.
Yo la esperaba.
I was waiting for her.
Y la sigo esperando.
I'm still waiting for her.
My name is Lieutenant Xavier Maurice Biggers, badge 1059.
Lieutenant Xavier Biggers became close to Susanna's family after he was assigned to her missing persons case.
Just for me, the anguish and the sadness and the that the mother posed, it I apologize, sorry. But
Lieutenant, would you like some water?
I was surprised by Lieutenant Biggers. I've never seen him emotional like that.
I have a daughter the same age, and my wife is Hispanic, and it really touched me that I felt that it was my duty to try to find her. I actually neglected my family because I made sure that I went hunting for her, and it meant a lot to me.
Police officers are human too, and especially after we saw Miles Bryant, who abused the badge, to see the opposite, that there are amazing cops out there who love and will do whatever they can to help, and that's Lieutenant Biggers.
And it added to the expectation that Miles Bryant would take the stand.
Today, 8 witnesses testified in the trial of Miles Bryant, the former Dorville police officer charged with kidnapping and murdering 16-year-old Susana Morales.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you state your name?
Elisha Bates.
Elisha Bates was the woman who had reported Bryant tried to break into her apartment.
I heard the knocking, so I knew it was Miles. I grabbed my gun and I peeked through the peephole.
And what did you see when you looked through the peephole?
At first, he was just standing there. He started knocking on the door. And then as I backed away, he started kicking on it harder. I moved to the living room of the house and I started calling 911 at a distance so he wouldn't hear the phone call.
Miss Bates was essential because it showed that Miles's behavior to her was just creepy.
What do you have Mr. Bryant saved in as your phone?
Miles the stalker with an axe and a hole.
Did you put that in there?
I sure did.
He has a pattern of targeting young, vulnerable women and being inappropriate with them. To us, that shows his intent and his motive that we felt was sexual in nature towards young women.
And Ms. Bates, the person who was attempting to get into your home, do you see your room?
Yes, ma'am.
Please point him out to the jury and tell us what he's wearing.
An orange button-up with a gray tie. He took his glasses off and he has on black shoes.
Please let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Your Honor, and I have no other questions for this witness.
Prosecutors waited until near the end of their case to put on the medical examiner, Dr. Carol Terry, who did not find a cause of death.
That was a huge hurdle for us in terms of proving to a jury that the defendant was the person who had killed her and that he had done so intentionally.
I believe if I had had the intact body, I could have come up with a specific cause of death, but I'm limited based on what I have. The body is too decomposed. All I have is a skeleton. I'm very suspicious of strangulation, chest compression, suffocation, smothering, something of that nature. And I just do not have the body in a condition where I can prove that or disprove that. And so I've called it undetermined.
Yes. My name's Detective Angela Carter.
Angela Carter was the prosecution's final witness in the trial. She was used to introduce the 3-hour interrogation that she conducted of Bryant.
We know you were there.
Pointing out what she thought was a slip of the tongue when Bryant was asked if he knew where Susanna lived.
He started to say she said twice, and then quickly corrected himself.
To what? What did he correct himself to?
They said.
I have no clue. She said she was walking home, and I don't know. She said she was nearby.
What was that? Why was that of interest to you?
Because to me, it pointed out that he spoke to her.
Despite his claims that he had not.
Correct.
And then the prosecutor asked about a portion of the video after detectives had left the room when Bryant was talking to himself.
Oh, man. Cannot go down for
I'm gonna find out who did this, and I cannot go down for this. Were you able to hear those statements on the video?
He knew we were watching.
So the defendant said he's gonna find out who did this there at the end. Let me ask, did you ever find anyone whom you believed to be associated with killing Susana Morales other than the defendant?
No.
It's my understanding that the state is going to rest.
Prosecutors now prepared for Bryant himself to take the stand.
I know those jurors are anxious, and that's in the back of their mind because the defense attorney had promised he was going to take the stand.
Mr. Bryan, I need to ask you some questions. Do you swear or affirm that testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay.
We heard the jail calls where his family is telling him, I don't know if you can do this, son.
Do you personally, Miles Bryan, want to testify or not?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Utter shock. I knew very clearly at that point that that was going to be a monumental frustration for the jury. His lawyer is a fine lawyer. She was stuck with what her client did to her, which was promise to testify and then go back on that promise.
The case would go to the jury the next day after closing arguments.
Defense, have any closing?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Just because Mr. Bryan was in the woods where that body was found, in and of itself, is not enough for a guilty verdict. There has to be more. We don't even know how she died. There is zero evidence that he caused her death. Is it unreasonable to think that he stops and says, hey, I got some edibles, let's go smoke some more, and her getting in the car? There is zero evidence that she was forced in that car. Zero. It's okay not to like Miles. Think he's disgusting, thinks he's a terrible police officer, whatever. It's okay. And it's okay to feel sick when you realize that there are other reasonable theories and that you have to return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
All right, you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Absolutely.
This badge is supposed to stand for something. It's supposed to stand for the obligation somebody takes to serve and to protect their community. But to the defendant, it meant nothing. He didn't serve, he didn't protect, he abused. He took his power, he took his badge, and he used that to violate the law. He used that to murder. He is a cop turned killer. He is a master manipulator. He is a liar, but don't let him manipulate you. I'm asking you to do your job and to see through the manipulations and the lies and the red herrings and all of the other distractions that they're trying to throw at you, and look at the case and hold him guilty for the death of Susana Morales.
News at 4 right now. We are on verdict watch. A Gwinnett County jury is debating the fate of a former Doraville police officer, Miles Bryan.
We waited in the courthouse for hours.
It was the longest couple hours of my life.
Good evening. Has the jury reached a verdict?
The jury had been out for some 5 hours.
I was very nervous. I think I held my breath the whole time.
State of Georgia versus Miles Bryan.
Miles had the same carefree look on his face. I believe at that point he still felt like he was going to be found not guilty.
Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 3, kidnapping. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 4, criminal attempt to commit rape. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
The jurors who believed him guilty of that charge agreed to find him not guilty because there was a genuine disagreement about that, what we sometimes call a compromise verdict.
I'd first like to call up Ms. Jasmine Perez.
All he ever wanted was justice for what happened to her. So I want to thank her for that. Nothing will ever bring her back. To this day, I still hope that I'll see her again. Sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry about.
Seeing my mom devastated every single day, not knowing what could happen to my sister, was very, very disappointing, devastating.
Cada noche yo no puedo dormir sin pensar en ella.
Every night I can't sleep without thinking of her.
I felt some type of peace because I promised my daughter that I would get justice for her. That's why we asked the judge to give him life in prison.
Mr. Bryant, do you want to say anything? Go ahead.
No, you can speak from there.
I just want to apologize to everybody and to the victim's family. Sorry.
That's it.
He stood up and apologized. But there was no explanation, no kind of remorse on his face. And he didn't apologize for his actions. He just apologized to the family. And that was it. One line.
The judge has 2 options, and it's life imprisonment with the possibility of parole or life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Mr. Bryant, on count 1, malice murder, I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole.
Prison is where he deserves to be.
You may go with the deputies.
He is a bad apple, but Mr. Bryant, from the very beginning of being a police officer, had no intention of protecting and serving his community, only himself.
I always remember her by her laugh, her beautiful voice. She's my little sister and I'll never forget her.